Today we are going to discuss about some more part of forensic, and down the line we are going to discuss about cryptography and some bit parts of your MITRE framework as well. Now this is your documented process to maintain the track. Okay. So again, it's a crucial component of particularly of a forensic investigator. So he makes sure that all the evidence what he has collected is relatable and admissible into the court as well. Okay, not only that, that data or the particular evidence he has collected has not been tempered. Okay, now this chain of case study involves the following certain key elements. How will be the process and what to be included? Okay, so it starts with your identification. Okay, each pieces of your digital evidence should clearly identify that they are liable, and even not only that, they are being labeled as well. That is your unique and reference relevant to your to the cases. How we are going to identify it? So we are going to label it. Let's suppose we collected the information, that logs of Windows. So that logs of Windows will be stored into one folder by the name of a Windows log. Then we collected a log of a Linux. So again, we are going to create a new folder by the name of a Linux log. So what we are doing, we are identifying it and storing at one place, particular place. Second is your documentation. Okay, your detailed records have been maintained over here of each and every stages followed from your investigation, like the name of the individual who has been involved, date and time of the evidence when it has been collected. Okay, by any chance it has been transferred, that has been occurred, that is also been included into this. The evidence should be stored into your secured manner to prevent from an unauthorized tampering. Okay, now this involves your encrypting and encryption, password protection, and not only that, the physical security as well, because we don't know if we are storing that information in our laptop and in or into our, you can say, logger. So it should be physically secured as well. Now anyone can come and tamper or can steal the data. Okay, transfer and handover. When the evidence has been transferred from one party to another party, okay, there should be an formal process. Okay, how the process will go on. First, we are going to create a transfer document. Okay, so that this document is going to be transferred to XYZ person. So he will be taking care of the case. Further to that, he will be identifying all the information. Each and everything has been mentioned in that particular paper document, and that has been acknowledged by both the parties. Second is your fifth is your storage and preservation. Okay, now whatever information has been collected, that should be stored into a secured environment. Okay, such as your locker room, or if we are storing that particular evidence, if it is a digital evidence, then access control will be assigned to it. It should be protected from physical damage. It should be protected from your data corruption. It should be protected from an unauthorized modification. Okay, only this authorized person can access it. Okay, privileges are been assigned to all this document, who to all that file. If I'm staring this, let's say By end of the class, I'm sharing the document as well. Now that document, what I am going to do, I am going to give certain privileges to that, which is the document which is been stored over in drive. Okay, privileges are what? You can only read, okay, and you can download that file. You cannot do any modification. You cannot upload any other file. You cannot delete any other file. You cannot delete that file as well. So I am assigning certain privileges because I am the owner of that particular file. So I can change the reporting. Whatever findings are, evidence should be documented, detailed in detailed format. Okay, including your information about the chain of custody, about the what method you have used in order to find out the result. Okay, and then you are going to present in the code. If the case goes to the court, the chain of custody document becomes very much crucial at that point of time. Okay, and the examiner, what he is going to do, he is going to testify all this presented evidence. And again, this process should be explained to them because they are the non-technical person. They don't know. They are not very much technically sound good. So we need to explain them each and everything. What is this evidence? How it has been collected? Okay. What are the traceable path? What are the initial step to collect the to collect the evidence? Okay. Each and everything will be discussed. Okay. Now, next is your order of volatility. Okay. Now, this concept order of volatility in digital forensic, what is going to refer? It is going to refer the prioritization of the data on their likelihood. Okay. Now, investigator, what he will be doing, he will be considering this volatility on different types of an evidence what has been collected. Okay. So at certain point of time, when he start collecting the evidence, or when he start grouping them, so during that time he got to know that what should he have to mention, that what particular evidence should be kept on a prior side. Okay. How the collection of an evidence should go on. So first, what we are going to do first, at the very first moment, let's say what I have to do, I have to collect an evidence from a laptop. Okay. So what will be my first action? My first action will be, first, go ahead and capture all the RAM memory, because it's an volatile data stored inside our computer. RAM is what? It's a more critical, isn't it? If the system has been restarted or the system has been shut down, all the this particular volatile data will get deleted. Okay, so it's an essential part to capture and analyze all these details. Okay, so we will be using some special tool to capture the RAM memory. Okay, so this is how we are going to prioritize. First will be your RAM. The next will be your, you can say, network and system log. Okay, and other log files, which is providing you a valuable information about the system and the activity. Okay, then will be your running processes and your services as well. Okay, information about all the active process services, that application. Okay, to understand the behavior of your compromised system, to identify the malicious and unauthorized process. Okay, after that is will be your file system metadata. Okay, So file system metadata will be such as your timestamp, file permission, attributes, which is again providing your information about file access, modification, deletion of the file, or someone has created any file, someone has established a time file related activities. All those things will be collected from here. Then is your hard drive or social media, storage media, sorry. Okay, your physical drive, SSD, and other storage devices. Okay, so from there you are going to preserve and collect all the evidence. Okay, and then comes your network traffic and packet capturing. Okay, capturing your network traffic, capturing your packet, which is going to give you more insights of a network communication, more insights of a malicious activity. Okay, archival data backup. Okay, so if you are containing any older version files or system images, which is going to help us to understand about the historic state of the system, okay, or recovering of some of the file has been deleted, so we can recover those files. Okay, so in order to, we can identify and preserve all the all the available data. Okay, so these are certain order of validity in order to collect an evidence. Okay, so we are going to prioritize depending on to the specification of the case, nature of the case. Okay, so digital forensic investigator, what he is going to do, he is going to assess each and every situation. Okay, so prioritizing the thing, what will be the first state. Okay, so from where we are going to start. So when there is a device, so we don't want that device to be restarted or that device to be shut down. So quickly let collect the evidence from the RAM. Then your network, because it is connected over a network. Okay, what all processes, what are applications have been running at the back end, what are services have been running, and what are services have been used previously. Okay, along to that the file system details. Then comes your hard drive, then to your network traffic, and then the data backup. So like this we can prioritize as per our requirement the details, the data to collect all the evidence. Okay, so we call it as an order of volatility. MITRE, ATT, and CK. Okay, now what is this? MITRE is an corporation that introduced ATT and CK, adversarial techniques, and common knowledge. This is a very famous framework. Okay, and this framework has been adopted by many organizations to improve their cybersecurity posture. They both are separate terms. Okay, now MITRE is what? It's a non-profitable American organization which has been basically handling your FFRDCA project. Okay, a federal funded research and development center. So various government agencies like aviation, defense, healthcare, homeland security, cybersecurity field work. So this all have been associated involved in this particular this all innovation. They had help in the form of an innovation, in the form of an attack. Okay, now this framework has been introduced in the year 2014 during that time. Okay, and the full form of the framework is adversarial, that means enemy, attack. Okay, what are the techniques and common knowledge are being used by them. This concept was been taken from your CyberSecurity. Okay, we use attack and MITRE in both of the site. We can use it to understand the attack, how it has been coming, and we can use it to build our defensive strategies in order what has been coming, what can be expected. Okay, and what will be your steps that you are going to follow in order to defend the environment. Okay, so what do we have over here is first is your attack, adversarial tactics. Okay, so what is the goal of the attacker? Why he need to get inside that network? Okay, for example, if I want to hack InfosecTrain, then what I will be doing? First, I will be gathering the information, isn't it? Collecting more and more detailed information in order to in order to perform an attack. That is your adversarial tactic. Okay, gather the information. It is used as a detailed technique. Then is your technique. Okay, so by using the third party website or by sending some packets, okay, by checking the operating system, this all details have been proceed over here. Okay, so adversarial tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. Okay, so with the help of what all knowledge you are bringing, okay, what all techniques do you have that you are going to perform it to to do an attack. Okay, what tool you are going to use, what action you are going to take, that is known as your common knowledge. With the help of that knowledge, you are going to perform an attack. So it's an adversarial tactics. Okay, collect the information, technique, what kind of a technique you are going to use, whether you are going to use any third party web application or website, or you are going to send any particular packets to check the server, operating system information, detailed procedures you are going to say, and with the help of the knowledge, you are going to knowledge of the tool, or it can be anything. Okay, the attack will be performed. Now let's look into the matrices. When I check for matrices, okay, so in this what do we have? We have tactics. How many tactics we do have? There are 14 tactics. Okay, 14 tactics: reconnaissance, resource development, initial access, execution, persistent, privilege escalation, defense evasion, credential access, discovery, lateral movement, collection, command and control, exfiltration, and impact. Okay, so this is what, again, a process, a step-by-step approach in order to perform an attack, isn't it? Okay, now there will be a question into your mind where we are going to use this MITRE attack and why we are going to use this. Okay, so we have different organization. So let's say we have different security adversarial as well. So majorly this activity has been used by the your red teams as well. Okay, so they will be checking for what are the possible patterns of an attack is. Okay, so based on to that they will give the input. Then while performing a gap assessment, okay, so during that we organization will be checking where they have been lacking, in what kind of an defensive vision they are going to be lacking. So in order to update or prevent from these breaches, this MITRE attack framework has been used. Okay, now what do we have in this framework? First of all, we have tactics. How many tactics do we have? 14. And in order to perform these tactics, we have some techniques. Okay, and sub techniques. So there are 196 technique and 414 sub techniques. Under this technique, we have sub techniques as well. What technique is been used to perform the attack? Here it is. Again, a step-by-step approach. If I want to perform an attack, first will be your information gathering, next will be your scanning, next will be your enumeration, and then the attack. Okay, how the information has been collected, the sub techniques is going to give you the detail. How the scanning has been done, the sub techniques and sub techniques is going to give you the details. How the enumeration has been done, it is going to tell you that detail. Now, these are what? These groups are what? If you click onto any of the group, it is going to give you the information. Okay, these are your well-known attacks. Okay, and that attack we have the pattern as well. How that attack has been happened. Complete information about that attack. Okay, let's say APT1. APT1 has been saying is what? APT1 is a Chinese threat group that has been attributed to the Second Bureau of People uh, Liberation Army General Staff Department, or third department, commonly known as a military unit cover designators. Okay, as a unit of an 61398. So there are Chinese threat group. What they are doing, they are performing an attack onto your second bureau, third department, okay, and general staff department. Okay, they are trying to collect any information, some serious information. Okay, same way, if you go for APT12, what APT12 has been saying again, threat group that has been attributed to China. The group is targeting varieties of victim, including but not limited to an media outlet, high tech companies, and multiple government. Okay, so most of this companies will be facing this attack. Okay, now to prevent from this attack, there is the pattern. When this attack has been disclosed, when this particular attack has been happened, and when it has been disclosed, complete information of it. APT29, Russian-based attack. Okay, there are the attacker. What they are doing? They are performing an attack. Where they are performing an attack? In Europe and all the NATO members countries. Okay, and who are their targets? Generally, you can say the financial company who are taking care of all the financial departments. Okay, so such organization, they are facing the challenge of this attack. Now, how to get prevented from this attack? The complete information of it. Okay, if my organization has been sitting in this location and specifically we are providing that service, so there are high possibilities that this attack can may happen. So how to prevent from this attack? Straight away, what we are going to do, we are going to take the help of this matrices. Okay, so we are going to create the layers as well down the line to prevent from this attack. Now, how that can be created in order to see the attack pattern? Okay, so what do we have? We have an attack navigator. Now, this attack navigator is going to help us in order to see the pattern of the attack. Okay, so let's look into that. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new layer, particularly for an enterprise. So what do we have? If we can go with enterprise. Okay, so in enterprise we have it is all the operating system are being included: pre Windows, Mac, Linux, cloud, network, containers in cloud. What do we have? Office 365, Azure, Google Workspace, SaaS. Okay, this all have been included. Then specifically, if you want to see the attack pattern on mobile, So for Android iOS, we have the details and we have for ICs as well. Okay, so generally we will go with an enterprise. I don't know what operating system has been used in an organization. There can be in multiple. Okay, some are using Linux based and some are using Windows based, some are using iOS based. Okay, so in order, what do we have? We have the enterprise. In that we have all the things have been covered. Okay, so for an enterprise, this is how your navigator will look like. Now we are going to select a specific pattern, specific attack pattern. Okay, now in this we are having multiple options available. Selection control. If you want to search for any particular APT, you can search it from here. Okay, let's say I want to go with APT1. Okay, so under your thread group, you are going to select APT1. Select. Okay, so APT1 has been selected. Now, you can see the box has been highlighted. Okay, if you want to change the name of this layer, we can change it from here. And I want specifically this box to be highlighted. I cannot say this. What are there? What are the APTs are there? So what we can do, we can change it from your color scheme. Okay. So lower value as a 1 because I know I am not going to add more attack patterns. So in between 1 and 3 I am going to place. So for 1 it will be red color, for 2 it will be yellow color, and for the 3 combination it will be green color. Okay, post to that, if you want to download this file, you can download it into an JSON format which has been used in most of the application. You can download it into an Excel format as well. You can download it into an SVG format, scalar vector graphic, the high quality image. Okay, now I have given the color scheme. Specifically, I want to give a color for this pattern. Okay, so in scoring, we can go with 1. First is your red color, so it will be highlighted with a red color. Okay, so this is your attack pattern of APT1. Okay, now I want to see, is there any common pattern between two attacks? Okay, so we can add one more attack and we can see, is there any common pattern? Okay, how that can be done? With this plus sign, again create a new layer, particularly for an enterprise. Okay, this time I'm going with okay. APT19 has been selected, some of the boxes have been highlighted. Now I'm going to change the name. Okay, now I'm changed to go. I'm going to change the scoring value as well. So again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 is already given to APT1, so we are going to go with 2. It's been highlighted. So these are your attack pattern. When I look for the attack pattern, it will look something like this. Okay, now I want to merge both this attack in order to find out what is the common pattern. Okay, so this time what we are going to do, we are going to create layer from another layer. We want to add both this layer. Okay, so which one? So by default we'll be going with the latest version of MITRE, that is your version 13. Okay, and this layer, this APT1 has been denoted with A, APT2 has been APT19 has been denoted with B. So simply add both this APT, A plus B. Once it has been added, create. That's it. You will have both the attack pattern. Okay, now there is no common pattern in both the attacks. We got the information, no common pattern. Along with that, we got the information how the attack will be initiated. Okay, now it will be very much easy for an organization, isn't it? Similarly, place a control set or into your network. Go by this pattern. If anyone tries to perform the attack, indicate it, inform it. Okay, identify it and block that particular attack. So simply, I have all the attack pattern. Okay, I will be creating a rules in my firewall that someone is trying to perform an attack. This is the attack pattern, then straight away block it. Okay, along with that, I identify the team member as well in order to trace it back. APT3 stands for red color, APT29 stands for yellow color. Now I can see one more color, what that color is. For APT3, exploitation for client execution. For APT29, the same step has been used. So whatever the same steps are, it has been highlighted with an green color. Because in scoring, what we have gone with, okay, so one is for red color, two is for yellow color, and three is for rest of the thing. So we have only gone with the three colors. So what he has done, he had identified one is already been given, two is already been given. Okay, if there is any common pattern, choose the third color. So this is the common pattern. Okay, so here are some of the common patterns which has been used in both these attacks. Platform is for Linux OS, Mac OS, Windows, Network, PRE, Containers, Office 365, SaaS, Google Workspace, IS, Azure AD. So whatever your platform, you can select it and secure your environment. Okay, to get more detail about that pattern, about that attack, you can go, you can check inside each and every this particular tactics. Okay, so just visit over here inside your tactics. Okay, it's talking about the initial access. So just go inside an initial access and get that information. What are the sub techniques to perform an initial access? It's an exploiting public facing application. Score is 2. Let's go ahead and get more information about it. Our next topic for today will be your cryptography. Okay, now cryptography means what? So let's further distribute this cryptography into crypto means secret and graphy means science of writing. Secret science of writing. Okay. Now, before going to understand about cryptography, there is one more concept by the name of a data security. In data security, what do we have? We have covert and overt. Okay. So covert means basically a closed one, which means in front of you there is an image and behind that image file there is a data. So you might in many of the movies, such as your some of your, you can say, uh, similar to your many Mission Impossible movies. Okay, so in that movie you might have heard about this word covert operation, overt operations. Okay, now coverts are what? Taking a shield. Okay, hiding behind that shield. And overt is what? It's an open security. Okay, there is no shield. Okay, now in cryptography, overt is what? It's an open security that in front of you there is a data, but it is encrypted. You required a key to decrypt that particular message. Okay, so cryptography is more over to an overt security. It basically addresses the data security in an overt manner. Okay, it is encrypted. The data has been encrypted in such a manner that no one would able to read it as well until and unless he is having a key. Now, generally cryptography are the two types. It's in modern and classic. In modern we have symmetric, asymmetric, and in classic we have transposition and substitution. Okay, so whenever generally we go with symmetric and asymmetric. Okay, now for in cryptography there are certain requirement. Okay, requirements are your encryptions. Okay, now you will be hearing this term many a times when we generally talk about in cryptography, when we talk about encryptions. Okay, it's your key and algorithm. Key and algorithm. Keys are what? Basically the factor, and algorithm is what? It's a logic. Okay, for encryption these two things have been needed. Keys are the factor that need algorithm to derive the encryption. This will be your definition for encryption. Okay, keys are the factor that requires algorithm to derive our encryption. For example, if I'm writing this now, what I say, -2, just go two alphabets back of each and every alphabet. Two alphabet back of an J, two alphabets back of an G, two alphabets back of an N, same goes N and same goes Q. Tell me what value you are getting, what word you are getting. Okay. Now what I have provided over here, -2. What is this thing? So over here, minus sign is what? Your algorithm. And 2 is the key which has been used. So algorithm is your subscription and key is what? 2. Okay. So basically when we talk about an encryption, it's a combination of your cipher text, key, algorithm, and your plain text. Whenever you hear a keyword key, it is always going to be an encryption. That will be an one-liner definition for an encryption. Okay. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about is your algorithm and key. Algorithm is what? It is always going to be in public. Okay. So you can name n number of an algorithm which have been available. That is your AES, DES, CDES, okay, MD5. So these are what? These are all are your algorithms. Now keys are what? It is always going to be in private. So let's say for AES encryption, which public key has been used or which private key has been used? Okay. Now what I said, algorithm is what? It's always going to be in public. But when we talk about keys, keys are private. Okay. We know about the algorithm, but we don't know what keys are being used. Okay. The name which you all guys have been taking, AES, TES, 3DES, what are these? These are the algorithm which has been used. Okay, but we never know what keys are being used at the back end. That is why this cryptography comes into the picture. Encryption comes into the picture. We want to hide that key that no one can tamper the data. Okay, so keys are always private. They are not made public. Okay, so generally encryptions have been divided into two major type. One is your symmetric and second is your asymmetric. Okay, in symmetric encryption we use algorithm such as AES, then we have DES, then we have 3DES, then we have blowfish. These are what? These are your algorithm. And for asymmetric, the algorithm which has been used is your RSA. Okay, Diffie-Hellman, then your elliptic curve. Okay, and there are many. So these are what? These are your some types of algorithm. Okay. Now, how your symmetric encryption work? Let's take an example. There are two devices. One is your A and one is your B. Okay. For A, we have a public key by the name of an PA. For B, we have a public key by the name of an PB. Okay. Now, when these keys will be exchanged? At what point of an time? Can anyone guess? A connection has been established. To establish the connection, what has been required? A three-way handshake has been required. Send SYNAC and acknowledgement. Okay. Now during that time, the keys will be exchanged. Okay. So while after the three-way handshake, your keys will be exchanged. A will send his public key to B and B is going to send his public key to A. Okay. Now the connection has been established. You can share the information with each other. Okay, if A want to send something to B, what he will be doing? He will be using B's public key to encrypt it. Okay, then it will reach to B. Now B, what he is going to do? He is going to use his own public key to encrypt to decrypt that data. Similarly, B want to send anything to A. What he will be doing? He will be using A's public key to encrypt the data, and it will reach to A. A will use his own public key to decrypt the data. This is how we are going to maintain the confidentiality of the data. Okay, let's say I want to send something to B. How the message will be? My message is hello. This is my message. Now, a public key of an B will be attached. Now this information will be shared to B. Okay. Now B, what he is going to do? He is going to decrypt the message with his own public key. He will receive a packet by the name of an hello PB. So first he is going to decrypt this message with his own public key. So we are maintaining the confidentiality. Now what if the hacker has been setting into the same network? What is going to happen? What will be the possibilities? Think like it. You are an hacker, you are sitting into the network, into the same network where A and B have been connected. Okay, what you can do? He will be taking an advantage, isn't it? Whatever details have been traveled in the same network, if he is not able to read it, he can modify the data. Okay, not only that, he can capture that the three-way handshake. During the three-way handshake, he can capture both the keys as well. Key of A, key of B, the public key of A, public key of B. Okay, once he have the key, he can easily read the data which has been traveled. Again, this is a serious issue, isn't it? If the hacker can capture the keys and he can read the data, absolutely, it's a serious issue. Then what we can do? Okay, yes, we'll use the private key. That's why we introduced an asymmetric encryption. Okay, now there are a couple of things you should know about symmetric encryption. Is it's a bit fast. Okay, why? Because you are only using one single key. Now when we switch to an asymmetric encryption, let me tell you, it is practically impossible to use asymmetric. Why? It's a very slow process. Okay, but let's understand how it is been done. Okay, now A, for A we have a private key by the name of an PRA. Then we have a public key as well, PBA, and for B as well we have a private key and a public key. So private key is PRA and public key is PBB. Okay, now during three-way handshake, which keys will be exchanged? Private key or public key, or both the keys? If private keys have been exchanged, then what will be the reason behind shifting from symmetric to asymmetric? Hacker will be sitting into the same network, he can capture the private key. Now B will be having the public key of A. Okay, which will be PBA. Okay, similarly A will be having a public key of B, PBB. Now the communication will start. Okay, now the public during three-way handshake, the keys have been exchanged, the public keys have been exchanged. Now if A want to send in data, what he will be doing? He will be adding the public key of B. Along with that, a hash to that data will be added. Okay, my message is H followed by a hash will be added of that H. Okay, now further to that, again it will be encrypted with the private key of an A. Now this whole data will be encrypted, H and hash. It will be encrypted with the private key. Private key of what? Private key of your A. Okay. Now further to that, the whole packet will now encrypted with the public key of B. This whole packet will be encrypted now with public key of B. Okay. Now this packet will be forwarded to B now. Okay. So first what we did, the message which is an H, calculated the hash of that message, then the whole packet is been encrypted with private key, and then the whole packet is been encrypted with a public key of B. Okay. Now this packet will be forwarded to B. B, what he is going to do? The data has been received by B. First, B is going to decrypt the outer packet, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is encrypted with public key, that is your PBB. With his own key, he is going to decrypt the outer packet. Then after that, there is one more packet which is encrypted by private key. Anything which is encrypted by private key can be decrypted by its own public key. Okay, over here it has been encrypted with the private key of an A. Do we have a public key of an A? Is B is having a public key of an A? Anything which is encrypted by private key can be decrypted by its own public key. So B is having a public key of an B, public key of an A. He can decrypt this particular packet with the public key. Now what do we have? We have a letter and a hash. Now B is going to read this particular message, that is H. Then he is going to calculate the hash of that particular message, and it has been verified whether both the hashes have been matching or not. If yes, integrity has been maintained. Okay. And this encryption with a private key is also known as your digital signature. Packets arrived at B. B is going to decrypt this packet, the outer layer, with his own public key. Okay. Then what do we have? Again, a private key which has been attached to this packet. Now anything which is having any private key can be decrypted with his own public key. The private key of an A is being used. So with the public key of an A, we can decrypt this packet. Okay. Then the message which is an hash. Now B, what he is going to do to verify whether this message is correct or not, he is going to calculate an hash of H. Okay, and then going to verify whether both the hashes have been matching or not. If both the hashes have been matched, that means your integrity has been maintained, data is not been tampered with the help of a public key. So when you see of any of the website, okay, they are using certain algorithm. So for that algorithm, hash will be attached. What kind of an hash has been used? MD5 or SHA-1, SHA-256. So by default, they are going to verify it. So SHA-256 has been used. So calculate the hash of H with the help of SHA-256. Whatever hash has been attached, verify with that. Both the hashes have been matching. That means data has been same. It's not been tampered. Now, when we started with this particular cryptography, during that time, what I said, keys are not been made public. So what keys are being used, we are not aware of it until unless we don't know for that key what encryption has been used, how that is how we are going to crack, how we are going to calculate it. That are kept secret. That's the reason we use a digital certificate. Whatever data has been traveling, if you are storing, if you are visiting any website and you are making any transaction, what we are looking first, whether that particular website is secured or not, how it has been checked with the help of your certificate. Now with that certificate, if you have noticed, we are getting few more information. Okay, after this we are going to look into that. I'm going to tell you what are a digital certificate and how to check who is the certificate body for that digital certificate, and they are maintaining all the security for us.
Oh,
Okay, it has been used down the line. So when I'm saying symmetric encryption can also be vulnerable, asymmetric encryption, we don't use that asymmetric encryption because it's a very lengthy process. But what do we use? There was a person by the name of Diffie Hellman. Okay, what that person has said, this can easily be compromised, but for this to use this, it's a bit tricky part. So let's do one thing, the key exchange part, let's secure that key exchange part. Okay, and down the line process with the same of asymmetric encryption. Okay, now when the details have been sent, to verify the details, whether it is whether that particular details are, you can say, is been received perfectly, it's been received fully or not. So these are what, these are in the form of a packet, isn't it? And further to that packet is creating a frame. So this is what, a one frame is been calculated. To check this frame, to check this block, we have a data division. Here's what your CRC has been working. Okay, CRC is going to verify whether all the frames have been received or not, all the blocks have been received or not. Okay, if the message is hello, further to that, every packet will going to go into in small chunks. Okay, now what that guy has said, Diffie-Hellman, symmetric encryption, anyone can trespass it, all the details can be captured, and in asymmetric encryption, it's a very lengthy process. Okay, so let's do one thing, whatever keys have been shared, okay, let's secure that key exchange. If the key exchange has been secured, no one can read it, whether it's in public key, whether it's in private key has been sent, isn't it? The main agenda is to secure the key exchange. If it is in symmetric encryption, the keys have been exchanged, hacker has been sitting into the same network, he can capture those keys. If we secure this part, everything will be solved. Okay, so we started using Diffie-Hellman. Okay, keys includes both public key and private key. So we are securing the key exchange. In further to that, the communication has been done with the help of a symmetric encryption. Okay. Now, keywords to encryption is key. Similarly, for encoding, it's mapping. Okay, so sometime we don't use key to encrypt. Okay, we just use the table in certain predefined, these are the certain predefined value to create or to encode any message. Okay, let's say I am giving you a message 726976769. Is this make any sense? Looks like a phone number, isn't it? For 72, what do we have? H. For 69, E. For 76, L. Message has been created. You might have seen into the movies as well. Someone has been talking over the phone, or someone is sending a message, okay, a numeric into a numeric form. To decode it, we go with this. We use this ASCII table. Okay, so this is known as your encoding. These are your encoding types. These are your encoders. Okay, so you can go with the character, you can go with the decimal character, or you can go with the spatial characters as well. Okay, now let's quickly discuss about digital signatures, digital certificate. Okay, now let's say I built a website, and for this website I required a certificate, because I'm going to make the website public. People will be using that website, so particularly you can say I can provide certain services, and to gain the trust of the client, so a certificate has been required. Now what that user, or what I will be doing, okay, I will be approaching towards registration authority, that I required a digital certificate. Okay, along with that, a file will be created. In that file, I'm going to attach complete information about my website. Information, along with that I'm going to provide certain details as well. When this website has been created, if I'm having any public key, that is also been shared, that is also been informed. So registration authority, what they are going to do, they are going to verify all those things. For the verification purpose, they asked all these particular details. Once everything has been verified by your registration authority, the request will be forwarded to certificate authority. Registration authority will be saying, I had to verify this user, it's a legitimate one. Okay, all the documents has been verified. Let's go ahead and provide him a certificate. Now certificate authority is going to provide a certificate to the user. Along with that, to use that certificate, a private key is also been shared with him. Okay, now certificate authority, what they will be doing? They will be contacting validation authority. Okay, that we had provided the certificate to this user. This is the name of the user, this is the website of the user. Okay, along with that certificate, this is his public key and this is the private key, and these are the details of the certificate. Every information will be stored where? Into the validation authority database. Okay, and user will be having the certificate. Now we can decide to whom we want to approach. There are n number of certificate authority bodies are available into the market. We can go with any of the certificate body. Okay, so if you want to check, so let's say for this website, InfosecTrain, if I verify, who is the certificate authority over here? GoDaddy. When this certificate is been provided, okay, so we have the validation details, validate from this state to this state. Who is the domain? InfosecTrain. Along with that, public key details, it's an RSA, okay, and further more information. Okay, now what are these two things then? If this certificate got expired on 31st October 2023, so we have one more certificate available, which is known as your leaf level certificate. He is going to take in charge till 3rd May 2031. Then we have root level certificate, a self-assigned certificate. Every website will going to assign the certificate to them. So this is a self-assigned certificate, which is valid till 2031. So we are not going to wait until the first certificate expires. Generally, organization, what they do, they renew the certificate. Okay, most of the time, this is also been recommended. So don't wait for certificate to get expired. Then they are going to secure it, but we cannot 100% rely on to this. Okay, so generally a notification will be sent by GoDaddy in prior in 5 days. So your certificate is going to expire in 5 days. Your certificate is going to expire in 4 days. Renew it. So by that time you can renew the certificate and maintain the security of the website. Okay, so what all things have been included in over here? So user contacting registration authority, verifying the document verification has been done by them. Once the verification has been done, request forwarded to certificate authority, going to provide a certificate. Along with the certificate, a private key will be assigned to use the certificate. Now certificate authority will going to share these details with the validation authority as well, that these are the public key, these are the private key, this is the user detail, and these are the certificate details. Store it into your database. Okay, this is how the digital certificate process will go. Okay, and again this digital certificate is also known as a public key certificate. Okay, and what is the purpose of digital certificate? Authentication, encryption, and trust. Authentication, digital certificate is going to identify the individual or organization or the device is online communicated. Okay, encryption, so how it has been encrypted, how this particular website has been secured. So exchange of an public key used into an asymmetric encryptions. Okay, or Diffie-Hellman encryption, and the trust, by how the trust has been gained, by looking at by relying onto this certificate authority, the user trust will get gained, isn't it? So we only visit those websites who have been secured, who have been certified. Okay, so to whom we are trusting? We are trusting this certificate authority body. We are not trusting that website. The certificate authority, this particular certificate provider, has done the verification part. They are making the communications stronger and secured. So we are trusting them.